Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is George Washington, and with me this week is Benjamin Franklin, and this is Race Car Spelled Backwards. What's up, Jamie? Ben.
How be thy, George?
That was great.
George, we've got to make a quick episode here because we have to get to Philadelphia post haste. There's a document we're supposed to sign tomorrow.
I declare we shall sign it tomorrow.
I drove my horseless chariot made by Porsche so we could get there post haste.
So if you're listening, you're definitely going to want to go over to our YouTube channel this week and check out our video. I have on my George Washington costume or uniform. I'm not going to call this
a uniform, costume, sir. You're a general of the Continental Army.
And Mr. Franklin next to me. That's Benjamin Franklin, if you didn't know.
Oh, God, I did not privacy.
No privacy is the... It's okay.
We're private now.
It's okay, Ben. We'll let you slide. So we're dressed up for the 4th of July. Happy 4th of July, everybody. 1776, America, we are the champs.
Champions! George, they might call you our father of America.
They might. And I might even be our first president.
I am figuratively...
the father of
and
America.
Literally the father of many Americans.
Well, that's because you was out spreading it around there.
Well, I only know of 15 illegitimate children, but I love them all.
All 15 of them.
All 15. Benjamin Bache.
What would he pay in child
support? You know what they called him?
Time?
You know what they called Benjamin Bache?
What?
Little lightning rod. Isn't that sounds like a put down. He was a big boy. I saw his rod. Reminded me how proud I am being his father.
Man. So before we recorded this show, we decided to go out to the square where I live at, parked the car, walked around the square, stood on the corner and proceeded to wave to people as they honked at us. It was actually more fun than I thought it would be. I've never been in a parade, but now I know what it would feel like to be in a parade.
I think the town folks supported us, George.
Well, today is July 3rd, so we're recording our July 4th special episode on July 3rd, which July 3rd is National Redneck Day, if you didn't know. So I guess...
How dare you?
How dare I? What, assume you didn't know that?
That sounds like some kind of derogatory term from the hinterlands.
Actually, the term...
very cosmopolitan.
The term redneck comes from the farmers' necks would get red. Therefore, they called them rednecks.
Yes, I used some farmer's neck to print some of the things from my press.
What?
Yes. And after you read their necks, young folks call it tattooing.
Yeah.
But I just printed with
typeset.
Typeset.
You just practice, bam.
So when you read those necks, the necks had been read.
So when you got...
Thus, rednecks.
When you got struck by lightning, did it hurt?
I saw the future, George.
What did you see?
Well, first,
Marty?
Truth be told, it was my dumb, legitimate child that was holding the kite for me.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't going to... I figured, you know what? With all the extra children I have...
This is going to hurt.
Ow.
This is going to hurt.
Well, he said, ow, Daddy. It was his key we used.
Did you say kiwi?
Kiwi, yes. The Kiwi won the race last night. See that?
Van
Bingensteiner. I think he's a New Zealander redneck.
Shane Van Geisenberg.
Did you see the Americans could not call that?
They couldn't even get his initials right.
They just said SVG.
SVJ. Gee.
They were like, oh my God.
Jeff Burton. He couldn't get it right. He could not say Ginzenberg.
Well, the problem was he called his brother Ward to ask him how to say it.
He got pronunciation lessons from Ward.
Ward said, hey, brother, let's just call him SVGJ, whatever he is.
Shane Van
Jangerberger.
Guys, and Joey Logano called him Hamburger. He couldn't even get it right. Brad Keselowski said he had no idea who he was going into the weekend, but after the end of the race yesterday,
he knows who he is now.
He said there's nobody in NASCAR who doesn't know his name now.
We've been talking about him on this podcast for over a year when the new car was really sucky on the track.
That's when we started watching
the new
horseless Supercross.
The new horseless carriage,
Supercars.
I should say.
I said Supercross.
Did you know
Not super.
Well, you do know.
I do. I rode in the horseless carriage with you to
But-
the town square.
Thank you, Martin McFly, for that. How did you pronounce that horseless carriage he took us to the future in? DeLorean.
Delio.
I think I put down his
I think
great,
it was
great, great.
Delon, like the cappuccino machine.
When I was the attaché de France,
Yeah.
I believe I bedded his ancestors.
I'm sure you did. It's where one of your 15 illegitimate children came from.
Oh, no,
Ben.
we don't recognize the French ones. They're not American.
Oh,
You know, 40% of France can actually trace their lineage to me.
I thought Thomas was the one hanging out over there all the time.
Thomas, he had that lady.
That lady. Oh, George had the lady too.
Well, actually, he owned
Martha.
her, and I never owned anyone.
You didn't?
I never owned anyone. You know, I identify as a Quaker. Like,
I don't think Benjamin Franklin identified as anything. He's OG.
oh no, he had to, because the leading political party at the time in Pennsylvania was the Quakers. They weren't just a religious society, they were a political party.
All right, my head's
As
swimming.
for, you can ask my ancestor. You know, story has it that there's a Jamie Farrow out there that might have some lineage to me.
I had to lose the wig. It was getting mighty warm.
Are you out of character now, George?
I don't know that.
Have you become Brad?
I don't know. that-
Brandon?
I'm back to.
Hey, Brandon.
I'm back to Brad. Let's go with Brad.
George, I see why you wore a wig.
Because I have no hair.
You know, I'm gonna
I
leave.
could either have been considered George Washington or George Washington Carden, like my great grandfather.
Well, you know, I have an ancestor that was named Benjamin Franklin Farrow.
Well, we're both.
I'm gonna have to remove and get out of character. Oh my God.
Are you hot?
Jeez.
Oh yeah, it was hot. It's like 93 degrees, 94 degrees.
With the air conditioning on.
Yeah, we've got the air conditioning
least-
on. Got the fans running.
That looks like an old rat.
It does like an old rat. So, did you see? I'm assuming you watched the race yesterday.
Yes, I did. I had many technical difficulties, but by 11:30, I think I had finished the race.
It was a pretty good race.
I give it a 10 out of 10, to be honest.
I do too. It was great. So, as this is our 4th of July special episode, before we jump into the NASCAR stuff, we're going to kind of talk about some of our friends, the greats, the OGs of America, I would call them.
Yo, geez.
They're the OGs.
Yeah.
Like, there's no OGer than
They came up with the
I mean,
idea of
Jesus-
America.
Jesus is the original OG, but
I think Jesus had a part of America.
yeah, they were Christian.
God.
Yeah, no doubt. So we're going to talk about some founding fathers. As we've discussed on previous episodes, Jamie here has a vast amount of useless bar trivia stored up in his head,
Some of it may be false.
and some of it may be true. So he's got all this knowledge on this time period, at least, because that's what he went to college for. So we're going to pick his brain, and we're going to discuss the founding fathers. We'll be talking about George Washington. Yes, sir. We'll be talking about John Adams, Alexander Hamilton, Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, John Jay,
What
and
about me?
Benjamin Franklin.
The father. Truly the father of America.
I was saving you for last. I know you're second on the list, but I was going to you ruined it. You ruined a surprise, man. You ruined a surprise.
You know, I was a member of the Hellfire Club in England.
Let's start with Ben.
That's sex parties.
Let's start with Benjamin Franklin, Jamie.
Yay, Ben!
So what I know about Benjamin Franklin is he invented the glass harmonica, bifocals, the Franklin stove, and the lightning rod.
Well,
Tell me something interesting.
he also was he was the printer of a very influential almanac called Poor Richard's Almanac. That's what made him his first millions.
The almanac?
The almanac. He was a printer for King George.
The King George.
Yes, printed notes, stamps. Was, under King George, the postmaster. Created the postal routes and helped influence the completion of the King's Highway, which went from Charleston to Boston, Massachusetts.
You've driven on that, right?
I have actually gone to the one final remaining portion in North Myrtle Beach and walked in the path of George.
That's-
George actually took a tour of America on the King's Highway.
Yeah, I saw George Washington he had been in Augusta, that area in Georgia.
Charleston, Charlotte.
Well, there's a map of all the places George Washington
Oh, did I
possibly
not
visited.
share the book with you?
I don't think so.
His diary on his southern tour of America?
No, didn't
Yeah,
share that one. You
maybe
should
I
send me
should.
that. You should send me that. I like old George.
I could bring it because I like
So
regular
we're
books.
talking about George Washington now.
Oh, we're not done with
Ben.
Ben.
Okay. What else you got on Ben?
You know, he came up with a little lightning rod too.
What was that called?
His son, Little Lightning Rod.
Is that what he called him?
Uh-huh. Also was the father of the colonial governor of New Jersey.
That's cool.
Not of his wife. Another girlfriend.
So I mean, he had 15.
He was the,
How many legitimate children did he have?
I believe it's 3.
So 18 total.
Well, you know,
It was cold
you
back.
look at portraits.
It was cold back then.
you look
That's
at
how they stayed warm.
Yeah, I think that was his number 1 choice for warmth.
Yeah, obviously. That's where all them kids came
I don't
from.
need a blanket. You know, he bathed every day naked and swam in the Delaware River,
How else would you bathe?
regardless of the season.
I bathe naked spring, fall, summer, and winter.
If I had the kind of lightning rod that Ben had, I could deal with the shrinkage.
You could deal with bathing naked in the Delaware.
Yes, at Christmas time. All right, let's move on to George.
So he was our nation's first president. He was an OG moonshiner in a sense. He made whiskey. I guess he'd be more of a distiller because he wasn't illegally making it. He had a license and paid taxes on his moonshine.
You know, he got pissed off the people, the Whiskey Rebellion. They refused to pay taxes, and he sent his troops to put down the Whiskey Tax Rebellion. You can Google it. It's true.
I don't doubt it. He's also one of the largest growers of hemp.
Yes, he said it.
Hemp. He was a grower. But he used his to make paper and rope.
So they say.
Yeah, that's what they say. I mean,
it wasn't illegal till
we don't have firsthand knowledge of this. I wasn't, even though I look like George Washington today.
Do you know his teeth were actually teeth from an animal, not wooden like we believe?
Yeah, I learned in that movie Big Daddy with Adam Sandler.
I think he was referring to Ben, though.
His teeth had made of wood. Now, George Washington's teeth were actually made of animal bone and animal teeth.
George actually...
He never ran for president. He was elected by popular demand.
Well,
or drafted, I guess.
He was the only president that held slaves that freed those that he owned in his will upon his death. He regretted. He said, the one thing I regret is the enslavement of human beings.
That's fact. At least he had remorse, right?
Unfortunately, he didn't own too many slaves himself. He actually managed the ones his wife had inherited. They were called dowel slaves. And
did he set those free?
No, he couldn't. He didn't own them.
Oh, his wife did?
It did. Yep. And her children.
All right, what about John Adams? He was our second president. He was also the first president to live in a White House.
Do you know his dog's name was Satan?
Really?
Mm-hmm.
No, I did not know that. I know he said he was the vice president to George there, and he said the most insignificant office that ever the invention of man contrived or his imagination conceived was the office of the vice president.
Do you know his wife was a badass?
He was probably looking in the future because that's still pretty pointless.
I think
position.
so. His son also became president, John Quincy.
That's right. And his wife was
a badass.
How do you know?
I saw the HBO special.
What was it called?
John Adams.
Is that the one where they tar and feather the dude?
Yes.
I've seen that.
Do you know he defended the Redcoats?
The British.
In the Boston Massacre.
So this movie's coming back to me now. I remember watching this movie because I wanted to show my kids, but they were a little young for it at the time.
Maybe you should show them tomorrow.
They're probably appropriate age now. I mean, really, the worst scene is where they tar and feather that dude. But yeah, that was a really great movie.
He identified as a deist, as so did George Washington and Ben Franklin.
Yeah, George Washington was found quoting a lot saying that America couldn't make it without Christian values.
Values. A deist believes in a deity.
Well, I guess that makes sense.
They just felt like God created this earth and then kind of got bored and went somewhere else. Kind of like what happened to King George after we wiped his butt.
Only when I think of King George, all I can think of is the Disney Alexander Hamilton show.
What about the madness of King George? He was also insane.
Well, he's not one of our founding fathers.
Well, without him, we wouldn't have America. Thank you, George, for being an asshole.
I love America. I mean, we're Revolutionary War champs.
Don't you think these founding...
Two-time World War champions? Like,
we defeated the British twice, too.
2 times World War champions.
2 times British war champions.
Well, that's the Revolutionary
War.
We were
babies of a nation, and we defeated the living hell out of them.
We won the...
Revolutionary in the War of 1812.
That's some good ones back in the day we won. All right, Alexander Hamilton. He's not just a Disney movie. He was Washington's
or a
right-hand
musical.
man.
Do you think he sang that much in real life?
I don't think he sang that good.
You know,
I actually enjoyed that music. Well, I know you enjoyed it. You went and saw it.
I took my wife to New York to see it.
Yeah.
We're going back.
To see it again?
I do not know. I kind of want to see the Book of Mormon, but...
He was involved in the nation's first public sex scandal. He was killed in a duel with Aaron Burr.
Do you know his son died in a duel a year before defending his father?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I don't know there's a whole lot we can throw out on facts on him at this point because of that show or movie, Alexander Hamilton. Most people
we actually
have a pretty good knowledge of Alexander Hamilton.
While we were standing on the corner of the town square today, someone screamed out, "Hey, Alexander Hamilton!" I didn't correct her.
Don't correct her, Jamie.
Do you notice
let her be wrong.
Some people didn't want to make eye contact with us. Do you think maybe they thought we were insane?
Maybe. I mean...
Or did they hate America?
So, we have on these costumes, they're long sleeve, long pants.
Boy, they like layers back.
Leather boots on. I had leather boot covers on and Van tennis shoes.
I invented Hey Dudes, so I wore the Hey Dudes.
I had Vans. I'm the only George Washington to wear Vans. But it's 94 degrees outside. We're downtown Fayetteville, standing on the corner, just waving at people. Don't touch that. It won't fall. Just waving at people, and people are honking. Truckers were coming by honking at us. I mean, we probably made it, 5-10 minutes?
Yeah. Then we did the full loop on the square so other people can enjoy America.
I think a lot of people, you know what? For that 10 minutes, I saw more people smile than I've seen smile in 2 weeks.
There are a lot of people shooting videos of us.
Tons of people, but people laughed. It made it worth it. I might put my outfit back on tomorrow and go walk around for a little bit more and just wave.
When I was driving,
it doesn't have the same effect when I don't have my buddy Ben with me, but
I drove up here with the top down. Someone screamed, 407 years ago. I had to correct them and say, that was Abraham Lincoln.
a little late, bud.
100 years off, buddy.
All right, Thomas Jefferson. He was our 3rd president. He loved ice cream.
He also, if you own a human being, right, and you have sex with him, isn't that technically rape? They didn't have a choice.
I don't know.
I know we don't have those discussions here in modern times.
Yeah, I mean, no.
We can't even imagine slavery, to be honest with you. Even the racists in America can't imagine slavery. It had to be horrible.
What do you know about Thomas Jefferson? Just that?
He invented what was called the kitchen cabinet.
Really?
He brought people over to the White House. No servants were allowed in his dining hall. They had a dumbwaiter. They brought up the food and wine. He brought cases and cases of wine, and they discussed current issues in American politics.
Is he the one that got the cheese in the floor?
No, that was Andrew Jackson, the big round cheese guy. probably, he was the OG. He was probably as bad. I know I'm going to piss off people, but as arrogant as Trump, he was OG Trump.
Oh, Jackson?
Yeah, I think
Jackson was crazy.
Everyone can admit that Trump and Jackson were arrogant.
Oh, yeah.
Even if you support them.
Yeah, Jackson was insane, man. He's OG crazy. But
slavery wasn't enough for him. He took all the Indians and moved them to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Which we drove through there. You really only want to live in eastern Oklahoma.
Have you seen Small Town Murder or listened to Small Town Murder? They talk about Andrew Jackson. They get on him all the time.
I haven't heard where they talk about him.
They actually have a T-shirt with Andrew Jackson on it.
What? Kill everyone?
The OG racist or something like that.
He adopted a Cherokee and then he ran them all off. What a douchebag.
James Madison, he is our 4th president. I don't think Madison was a douchebag.
Madison was the only president that led the army in battle. He lost.
It don't matter. I think all our presidents
at the Battle of
the army.
Bladensburg on the outskirts of Washington, D.C., the British had landed in the Chesapeake and were marching on D.C. He led the army at the Battle of Bladensburg and sucked at it.
But
Dolly packed everything. Portraits of George Washington up before they escaped. Then they burned the whole place down. Nice small fact, Albert Gallatin.
I don't know him, but
he was head of the Treasury, a good buddy of Hamilton.
Alexander Hamilton.
Hamilton. So he
awesome.
leaned out of his boarding house, which we talked about last week, and took a pot shot at the general leading the British.
Who did?
Albert Gallatin.
Okay.
He was a sniper. He missed.
So he was the first.
But he missed.
So James Madison was our smallest president. He was 5'4" and weighed around 100 pounds.
To this day, I believe Dolly Madison was the hottest first lady.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know that I've ever seen a picture of her.
Google it.
Let me make a note. Look at Dolly Madison.
Look at her through the lenses of a colonial.
So I keep
Dolly Parton was...
So I should keep my jacket on is what you're saying, Ben.
Well, if you think about her in contemporary terms, you're going to go, wow, she dressed weird, but look at us.
Exactly.
So do we.
John Jay, what do you know about him?
John Jay. He wrote some of the Federalist Papers. He was the smallest contributor.
He was the governor of
New
York.
Which helped get the people behind.
Well, why is he considered one of the top 7?
Our rebellion.
If you look up founding fathers.
Because of the Federalist Papers.
Wikipedia has like 100 people on there.
But one that's...
I tried to pick out the most important one. In my mind, these were the top.
You left out Gouverneur Morris.
Okay.
He had a bigger sex problem than Ben Franklin.
Really?
He was stooping a lady in Philadelphia, colonial Philadelphia, married lady, whose husband came home. He jumped out of the window, ran out into the road, and a carriage ran over and cut off his leg.
Wow.
So
is he the one that stuck a whalebone in his wiener?
Yes. After he got a peg leg put on, as he grew older.
Whalebone right into the tip.
So just imagine a knitting needle right up your penis if you're male. And believe it or not, it penetrated something up that pee hole. And he died of an infection a few days later. He did it himself without the assistance. Why? He knew Dr. Benjamin Rush, why did an American
stick a whalebone up his...
I have a feeling that, if you're dealing with physicians that think you're sick and they bleed you and you die of that too, that's how George died.
Yeah.
That maybe you don't trust your doctors. Maybe.
But what was his problem? Like, what problem do you have?
He had a going problem. He wasn't peeing too well.
So he couldn't pee.
And he thought maybe
clean it
if
out.
I jam this whalebone up my wiener, I'll be able to pee better.
I can't pee, so I'm going to stick this in my wiener hole.
He should have consulted Ben.
No.
He should have consulted Ben Franklin, who had some kind of weird passion for the anatomy of the human body. And in his home in London, they discovered the bones of 1,200 human beings in his basement. I think Ben knew the anatomy of the human form very well.
Obviously. Well, at least the female anatomy.
Do you think he was trying to be the OG Dr. Frankenstein?
OG playa.
You know, everybody
He's just trying to be a pimp. That's all.
when he lived in London for 20 years, everyone loved him in London. Then he was our attaché to France. He actually got all the money we needed from France and the French assistance.
That's right. I remember that from
so
Hamilton.
that we could win. And everybody loved him in France. Some of the
Well, that's because he was just over there laying pipe right and left.
he bankrupted France, and just after we won the war, France fell. They had the bloody revolution and the guillotine.
That's because he wouldn't help him.
So that's about it. You got any founding fathers we've forgotten?
No, I think we've got them all.
Do you know Governor Morris? That was his legit first name. He was
Governor?
never a governor.
Yeah, I did know that. Only because of the whalebone in the penis story you sent me.
Also misspelled governor.
It
looks like Gouverneur, doesn't it?
I thought it was Grover.
Grover.
Groverner.
Who was a president in the 1880s? Grover Cleveland.
I know that. Maybe that's why I was getting Grover Morris.
That's a good name.
Governor Morris.
We don't use that anymore.
Grover.
He was president during the Gilded Age.
You know, I've been wanting to name my dog George Washington for years now.
Would you shorten it to GW?
I don't know. But then I found out recently that my great-great-great-grandfather's name is George Washington. So now I want to change my dog's current name. My kids won't let me.
Why don't you go to the courthouse and make your son's name George Washington?
Well, my son's named after my grandfather, so I'm kind of proud
You
of
could
his
just
name.
add to it then.
John Thomas George Washington Carden.
Yes. Because, you know,
It's got a ring to it. It's got a ring to it. I don't think he'll appreciate it.
the two Bushes that were president had 4 initials. Why
Maybe
can't
I
your
should-
son have 6?
What if I just changed my name to George Washington?
You could just identify as George Washington.
I identify as the George Washington. How about that?
Okay.
I'm OG George. I was actually the first president. How did you end up on a bigger dollar than me?
I'm worth more.
I was the first president.
What did you invent, George?
I was on the boat on the Delaware like this. Remember?
You know what
Thrusting.
You know what you said to General Henry Knox while he was sitting in the bottom of the boat while you were crossing the Delaware?
It's cold up here, General.
Move your fat ass, Henry. That's what he said.
That's reality.
And that is in history books.
Yes, I do know that.
It's been edited
you
because
told me, but
3-year-olds.
they say fat arse.
Do you think
They added an arse.
Santis would allow that in a book in the school?
Arse?
Move your fat ass?
Yeah, because
Henry?
it's history, and Uncle George Washington said it. I'm sure he's our uncle.
I don't know. Santis. He's going to ban the books, dude.
Not that one.
He's
All
a
right.
burner.
Let's talk some racing. We did have a lot of racing this weekend.
It was kind of compounded, though.
Yeah. We talked about Ryan Blaney's hard hit he took last week. He did actually have concussion-like symptoms all week long.
Sorry, Ryan.
I'm glad he was able to recover. But we went and raced in Chicago. I thought it was a phenomenal race. Jamie thought it was a phenomenal race.
Let's get it out.
Nobody got shot. Nobody
Out
got
of 10?
killed.
What do you
10.
think?
I'll go 10.
I'm going 10.
I was struggling between a 9 or a 10. But
Dude, the last few laps,
do you think
amazing.
Do you think the fact that me and you went to the LA Coliseum and watched the Clash in person, we experienced that? I would be willing to say that was my first NASCAR event.
And the fans were a minority there,
But
just like Chicago.
yeah, exactly. Like, they weren't fans. They were just regular people. In LA, it wasn't NASCAR. That's what I mean. Like, we've grown up going to Bristol, Atlanta, Daytona, Talladega. It's diehard NASCAR fans show up to those races. Those are races. The LA Coliseum was an event. That was my
I
probably
think Chicago was an event.
Chicago was an event. But do you think because we went to the Coliseum, we were able to appreciate the event of a street course race more because we learned to appreciate the Clash?
I think so.
I do too. My brother-in-law put a tweet out there last night saying that he said that was a race.
That's what the car was built for. We need more of them, don't we?
My brother-in-law don't watch NASCAR. His depth of NASCAR comes from me and his mom, but that's about it. He even said it's been years since he sat down and watched a race. He said from lap 2, he was instantly hooked. He watched the whole race. Like, if you don't like NASCAR, or if you don't like the fact that NASCAR ran the street course race,
sorry,
get over it. Like, they race. We have all these races. You're talking the Clash and the street course race are the two gimmicks that you don't like. I mean, I watched Twitter, which is at this point a hate group, just completely rip this race apart.
I'm thinking maybe we should do some Instagram stuff at this point. Well, I don't know what's going on with
I
Twitter.
like reading. I don't like people talking to me because I can read it in a quiet place and I don't have to hear it. But I really like the layout of Twitter, but I'm with you, man. Like, Twitter says was a struggle this week. But we're talking about Chicago. We had no incidents as far as I know. Nobody got shot. They did say a crew guy got mugged.
Someone died.
Somebody died. Oh, yeah. Somebody got electrocuted and died. And one of the workers setting up the track.
Which is sad.
Around 9 p.m. on Saturday night, a 46-year-old man was taken into custody at the 1200 block.
He thought he was Fast and Furious, didn't he?
Dude broke into the track. He was in a yellow Corvette with red flames on it. And he got caught.
Epic.
Like,
they should have let him run a lap.
I bet you he did. I bet you he got some. It doesn't say. It says he broke through a barrier and gained access to the track, but it doesn't say if he drove around it. I saw one thing on Twitter. It claimed there was up to 20 different cars had broken into the track.
I had seen that too.
Now, this is a sheriff's report. It said one man got arrested in a yellow Corvette with red flames. So I'm going to go with that.
You probably shouldn't be going to Twitter for the truth.
Twitter's, like I said, it's just a cesspool of hate.
I mean, the people we actually know, it's a great tool.
Yeah, I mean, we have some people at this point, I would even say have become friends who are on Twitter that we interact with. But there's a lot more negative than positive on Twitter, unfortunately. The neck's cold.
God, I'm going to be roasting in a second.
We'll turn it back on. I just gave him a neck second thaw out, man. All right, congrats to our boy. You want to say his name? Or I think I've got
Shane Van Gisbergen.
Gisbergen.
Bergen.
It's not Burger.
You'd think I would know it because we've been talking about him for a long time.
It's Shane Van Gisbergen. Gisbergen.
Okay.
Gisbergen.
Okay.
Well, I'm just saying it over because
he's my favorite driver.
I get better and better at saying it the more I say Gisbergen.
He is my favorite driver.
I went and looked for a shirt last night.
They don't sell their stuff here.
They don't sell it online.
You can get it on
I would buy it.
Australian eBay if you can pay like $100 to ship it over.
No. I saw Racing USA is putting together a victory shirt, so that'll be cool.
I'd like the die cast if they could put it together.
Yeah, that would look good up here on the table here.
Right now, Trackhouse is my favorite team because they're innovators.
They're definitely that. I mean,
they gave this dude a car that could win. Of course, skill was involved. He's not used to it. The dude drives on the opposite side of the car in Australia.
I know he's used to using his left hand
to shift.
I could not imagine. That's a huge change.
And dude, what about the last few laps with him and Justin Haley?
Same feet? Do you brake?
It's the same feet.
Okay. I've never driven on the right side.
I've driven on the right side with a stick, and it is weird.
I'll turn that back on.
No way around it.
I didn't realize you're going to get so hot.
It's very strange.
I've never done it, so I could imagine it would have to be very difficult to do. So I thought it was a great race, man. Like we said, 10 out of 10. What
was up with the Michelin Club?
No, the Legacy MC Club.
What is it? Legacy Michelin Club?
Yeah, that's the tire barrier.
They were the tire barrier.
I mean, the very first incident on track, I guess.
Noah and Eric
Amarillo, he spun out on his own, but
he was
Eric
spinning.
took out Brad and Noah. Or didn't take them out, but pulled them into the wall with him. And really, that was it. It stayed fairly clean. It wasn't. I thought it was going to be a crap show. I'm not going to lie. I really, going into this race, I was expecting the worst. there was moments on the weekend where I'm texting Jamie that, man, this sucks. That was more or less the rain. I read somewhere that they were within 15 minutes of calling the race when the rain started.
Dude, I love the driving in the rain.
I think the rain.
I love going with a rain tire and slicks and just the gambling that goes on, switching it.
Yeah, because your lap times would slow down going through those slower or wet sections.
I want it tried on an oval.
I do too. I so want to see them run.
That would be.
I want to see them run, not Daytona.
1.5 miles.
Put them on Chicago. In those, not Chicago, Charlotte. We've seen them go through turns 3 and 4 in the rain with those rain tires.
And I don't mean the roval. I want the oval.
Yes, I'm fully confident these tires could be used in the rain on an oval. Fully confident. Cole Custer won the Xfinity race. Let's talk about that.
I mean, what was it? 5 laps he did?
NASCAR called the race early.
He dominated. I'll give it to him. He dominated.
I think the race was actually kind of boring. Yeah. The Xfinity race started and then just kind of panned out.
Yeah, he dominated. Did you put it in heat mode?
No, it was ramping up on me. I know what was going on. No, he dominated, but we're talking about the NASCAR. They were 2 laps away from into stage 2, which would make the race official. They were going to run the cars around under yellow for 2 laps to make it official or just call it official. NASCAR makes their rules up as they go. We all know that.
It's the France family, dude.
And that's fine, though. But we know it. We know to expect it. That's what they're going to do. Make your rules up and move on. I'm going to tell you. It doesn't bother me.
The France family is more concerned with the billions they take home every year than the sport.
I don't have any problem, though, with them calling the race early like that.
I'm just sticking to my guns because I don't like France family.
I get that. But do you really have a problem with them calling the race 2 laps early?
No. I mean, seriously, he dominated.
Yeah. I mean,
Cole Custer, he was going to win the race.
But that does bring me to my next point, lightning delays. I think lightning delays at this point are a joke. It's not even, it's just comical at this point.
I think it's more for the safety of the fans than the drivers.
Okay. Make the fans sign a waiver then. Because
no, just run them out.
You have people
go home.
You have people in the grandstands during a lightning delay. You have drivers playing football on pit road during a lightning delay. They're sitting in the pit box during a lightning delay. You got crews standing around the cars talking during a lightning delay. You have cameras that run on remote. Just use those cameras and give us whatever. But at this point, I think we had a 90-minute lightning delay Saturday that basically ruined the Xfinity race. They canceled the concert. They had 4 concerts and only 1 happened this weekend.
Well, I was hating on their decisions until I saw the racing.
Oh, going to a street course?
Oh, I recorded it. I went and luckily, I did something else and was productive yesterday. But when I finally saw the race, it's like, oh my goodness, this is amazing.
I was unproductive yesterday because I watched the race.
Well, I did watch Carrera GT at Virginia International Raceway.
I'm not going to lie. I watched practice. I watched qualifying. Every time the Cup cars were on track this weekend, it was great. It was exciting. I mean, you had Kevin Harvick and Chase Elliott both cut the corner too sharp, hit the inside wall, bounced off into the outside wall during practice.
Oh, no, this is what the car's made for.
No doubt. And that's why Van Gisbergen.
Well, they got it.
I can't do it. Van Gisbergen. I would have to have been.
They need a different package for the ovals.
Yes, I agree.
And for the road courses. This is made for tight road courses. You can't have room.
Yeah, but I saw you want to fix some of the problems we have at our current road courses now.
Horsepower.
No. Look at the Roval. Look at Indy. Indy has a severe problem with drivers cutting corners. You want to fix that?
Put spikes.
Put up jersey barriers. Just like we had this weekend.
Throw some tires on it.
They proved. Oh, I got a whole segment on tires we're going to talk about because the tires is insane. The tire barriers. Kyle Busch drove that car 100 miles an hour plus into a tire barrier.
Seemed better than a safer barrier.
Backed up and continued racing.
Multiple drivers backed out of it.
Multiple. Had to be pulled out of it. Why don't we have a 5 deep tire barrier all the way around the track?
At least on the infield, like at the
like where Ryan Blaney.
Nashville. Slap some tires there.
Well, that's Nashville, the track's fault. Just ask NASCAR. Steve O'Donnell and NASCAR made it very clear. They do not put safer barriers on walls less than 100 foot long. And that wall's 99.8 inches long.
Tires in.
That's what NASCAR said. Nashville should have had some tires there for protection. So they pushed the blame off on Nashville Super Speedway. I guarantee you when we go back, they'll have Chicago street course tire barriers on that wall. But what I'm saying is, why don't we run those barriers, tire barriers, all the way around the track? Instead of a safer barrier that was invented by one of the Francis cousins, probably.
Ben, I think it was Ben Kennedy invented it.
Probably. But instead of using that, let's use tire barriers. We got plenty of useful tires that we can use.
But you know what, Ben Kennedy, I would like to meet Ben.
I wonder what the hit felt like.
Ben knows all the proper buzzwords for corporate life. I want him to make a PowerPoint for me to present at work.
But I think
so I can use those words that I don't even know what they mean.
A lot of NASCAR officials or NASCAR media knows those buzzwords. We heard them all weekend. But those buzzwords weren't needed after the race. I mean, look, to me, to see those cars, I wrote it down because I'm going to screw it up. But when the cars were coming down through the turn and they go over that bridge, to watch them do that, and behind them, you saw the city.
What about when they came back?
You saw the buildings, and you could see the cars driving by, like regular street cars and normal city life going on in the background. It was phenomenal. NBC.
They need to do this.
Great job.
Good job.
They
need to do this in New York.
Yes, New York City needs
Central Park. I'm telling you, work, man.
I'm not opposed. Okay, it was turns 12, 1, and 2. And 5, 6, and 7, they had a great view of there too. But no, I thought it was awesome. The drivers said they couldn't see the buildings so much when they were racing in the cars because they were focusing on the walls, obviously. But every view on TV, when you would pass a building or you're that close to a city, never before in NASCAR. Like usually, if you see the cityscape in NASCAR, it's because the cameraman is zoomed in 35 miles away to show you the cityscape behind the moon.
Dude, this exposes how horrible Fox is the last 2 races.
Thank God.
Oh my goodness.
Fox did not have this. If Fox would have had the street race, we would all be complaining today about how horrible it was. They would have probably had 3 cameras set up, ground level. It would have been bad. It would have been really bad.
Well, it shows you, if you spend some money, you can make a great coverage of a race.
No doubt.
I mean, come on, Fox.
The only thing I'll say negative was the rain. The rain
can't
really
control it, though. So,
but like we said, the rain made this race better. I honestly don't think it would be as interesting without the rain. I don't know if 100 laps would have. It might have. I mean, we saw Austin Dillon.
What about SVG winning his first ever NASCAR race? Not just an Xfinity, a Cup, the first guy in 60 years.
Since 1963.
That's insane.
That's pretty dang cool.
Did you see his feet? He uses the clutch.
He even said, though, that probably doesn't give him an advantage, but
he's used to it, though.
I think he's just comfortable with it.
I think it helps that he drives for Red Bull Racing a Chevy Camaro. Even though his seat was on the wrong side of the car.
The cars look very similar, in my opinion, too. I don't think they look that. They used to look a lot different, but the new model for the supercars looks very similar to our
Him battling from 10th to 1st.
Oh, okay.
Amazing.
Let's talk about NASCAR decided to shorten the race to 75 laps from 100 laps because they started the race too late due to rain.
And it was getting dark.
Not blaming NASCAR on this one.
Nope.
Even they should not have 5 p.m. Even a 5 p.m. start with long cautions, we would have had to end the race early like this.
I don't think they could have started earlier on that one.
But no, in this instance, But I'm just saying, maybe going forward, if you don't have lights, 5 p.m.'s a little late. Maybe go with a 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. But no, here, I agree. This was all rain. They started exactly when they could with the rain. So, but when they did shorten it, there was 5 or 6 cars who pitted. Kyle Busch being one of them, Chase Elliott, Justin Haley, Austin Dillon. These guys early pitted, anticipating the race to be shortened. So Christopher Bell got all pissed off. He's like, they screwed me now.
No, he kind of screwed himself. I mean, sorry.
Kyle Busch and them gambled. They were running in the back. They weren't doing very well. They took a gamble, started in the back, pitted early. It paid off for them. Way to go.
SVG screwed Bell.
SVG went to 18th after that.
And screwed Bell.
After that pit stop, after they shortened the race, after all that, when they flipped the field like that, that put him in 18th. And yes, he screwed Bell. But he drove through the field. That was what, 20 laps maybe?
And they kept
30?
saying he was going to be too timid.
I think they had
Nope, not too timid.
Oh, no. He was.
If you guys watch.
They talked about the green-white checkered. They were saying, can he handle the aggressiveness of the other NASCAR drivers?
Please go to YouTube and put up Australian Super V8s and just watch a recap. These guys are insane.
They're way more aggressive than our guys. Like,
they'll put the bumper to you.
It's insane how aggressive they are. But it's
I think I want to cross over I want a NASCAR driver to go to Super V8s.
Yeah, I saw somebody on Twitter.
Send Kevin over after he retires.
If the Super V8s decide to do their inaugural oval race in Australia, we'll send Kyle Larson to race him.
That'd be awesome.
That would be an unfair advantage. That's what the guy on Twitter was trying to get at, that it would be an unfair advantage. That
Kyle's going to have to drive on the right side of the car, though.
He was saying that Van Gisbergen had an unfair advantage because he had raced on street courses. But Daniel Suarez raced on a street course in Nashville. Michael McDowell's raced on street courses. Does that mean they have an unfair advantage? I mean,
Michael McDowell's an accomplished IMSA driver, dude.
Daniel Suarez hit everything except the lottery yesterday.
Yeah, I don't think it's
him and Noah Gregson.
I don't think his street course experience helped him much.
I think it did. I think what screwed Daniel Suarez was trying to hold it steady. He could not consistently hit those lines for 75 laps. Very few Cup drivers could. I think these drivers finally met a style of racing that they struggle with, and that's okay.
And it left it up to the driver. It's all even.
Oh, it 1,000%.
I'm going to give someone.
I do think Van Gisbergen had an advantage, but he was in a team that had a brand new team, a throw together team.
How about Corey LaJoie? Do you think he was just consumed with self-doubt when he got a Hendricks car? It had been his dream.
And he finished
freaked out.
He finished 14th.
He was doing pretty good, though.
He's the one that caused the pile up, the parking lot pile up.
I enjoyed it.
He got into Harvick, and I don't know if I would put that on.
Well, he kind of recovered.
Or if I'd put that on Harvick.
Harvick was struggling, too.
I don't know why. I can't for the life of me think of why I picked Kevin Harvick last week in our fantasy points picking, because Kevin Harvick hates, with a passion, these gimmicky races. He hates the Coliseum. He hates this. He hated Bristol on dirt. He hates that kind of. The Indy Roval at Indy or road course at Indy. He hates that.
But what is he doing next year?
He's going to the booth. He's going to love that.
He's retiring. Guess what? When you cannot no longer accept change and adapt, you go to pasture.
I hate these fans on Twitter I don't hate the fans on Twitter, but I hate their perspective that we should never race on a street course. We don't belong here. I don't know how they tell this because I bought race tickets, but if truly 80% of ticket holders were new faces, then that's a win for the sport. If the sport don't grow, it won't stay. So it needs to grow. But it's no different than a crazy liberal thinking, because if If a liberal doesn't want a gun, they want to ban all guns. If a conservative doesn't want a gun, they don't buy one. So if you don't want to watch a Chicago street course race or a New York City street course race, just don't watch it. It's one race out of the whole season. But I guarantee you, these guys on Twitter, they watched this race.
Oh,
And if they liked it, they won't admit it.
This is going to hook some people that weren't fans that tuned in yesterday to try some other races.
Guarantee it does.
What I hope is we don't disappoint.
I would be curious to know if my brother-in-law, Kyle, I'm curious to know if he watches another race this season due to the Chicago street course race. So I'm going to have to ask him. I don't want to never mind. I mean, I guess he listens to the show, so he's heard me say it. But Kyle, you're going to have to let me know because I'm curious. Like, is he going to watch Atlanta this weekend, or does this make him curious and want to go to Atlanta this weekend?
We ever hear from Eric about his favorite driver?
No, we didn't. Did we?
He's blocking us?
Eric, are you blocking us? Have you ghosted us? I mean, we got the cooter shooter on the way, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll reach out to him on Twitter, but I don't know who it is. I know LaJoy is.
I would like to fill in the blank for our next episode.
So Jamie needs to know by episode 68 who Eric's favorite driver is. Janet, Eric, if you can please let Jamie know.
Help us out, dude.
And if you tweet him, you might want to add a car backwards to it at least because he don't always check his tweeter.
I look at it occasionally.
Do you really?
Yeah, I've even replied to some people.
So we talked
occasionally.
Then we talked about the NASCAR app. Did you turn that on? So I text Jamie mid-race. He's like, I'm not watching live. I said, well, the NASCAR app's really cool. NASCAR app had a camera set up in the middle of turns 1 and 2, and then you had 5, 6, and 7, and they kind of met. So this camera could turn and give you 4 different angles of the racing going on. I ended up leaving that on the whole race and watching it. I thought it was way better. I did see some people on Twitter kind of complaining about, oh, it's another NBC race without the pre-race, no invocation, no flyover, no national anthem.
I don't think the weather would allow a flyover.
I don't think they had a flyover, but
hey,
MRN had the national anthem. I listened to it. I do think NBC they need to just have a pre-race show, like you have NASCAR Race Hub or NASCAR Today, or
they could put it exclusively on Peacock. You know, Peacock's free.
No, it ain't.
Yeah, they have a free app too.
You have to pay for these pre-race, post-race. You have to pay for. We got the first weekend free. Yesterday, you had to pay $4.99 a month.
Well, I'm already a subscriber to.
I'm not, so I'm not watching
Peacock.
I subscribe to enough. I'm not subscribing to anything else. But I don't know.
Sounds like Peacock's from Governor Morris's.
I hate Peacock.
That's his nickname, Peacock.
Did you get on Twitter at all this weekend?
No.
Man, you should have got on. Brett Griffin from DBC. He was literally on a roll. I don't know if this guy just likes pissing people off.
I think he likes pissing people off.
I think he enjoys it because the things he tweets are just, it's like he looks up in the dictionary words that will trigger people. And he just starts tweeting them out. I mean, he was bashing the Chicago race all weekend, mostly for political reasons.
Do you think he wasn't there because...
He said he would not go to this race because of political reasons.
What political reasons?
He said he wasn't going to go to a crap city run by crap liberals.
So, hate's the problem we have in America right now. Let's stop the hate.
Yeah. I mean, he sent out, the last tweet I saw that he did was, I'm Team Justin. If the 91 passes him, I hope he dumps his ass.
Do you know I'm a liberal conservative, Quaker?
Doesn't Brett, is he the one complains about people right hooking people?
Yes.
So he wants him to dump his ass too?
He just wants attention.
He just wanted to stir crap up.
Do you listen to DBC?
I love DBC.
He just wants attention on that too.
I love DBC. I'm not ragging on Brett. I mean, I just if I don't want to follow his tweets, I just ignore his tweets.
I'm not hating on him. What he does works for him.
Exactly. That's his deal. Good for Brett. Do what you want to do, man.
He entertains me.
You be you, me.
Yeah.
You be you, boo. You be you.
Boo bear.
I enjoy DBC though. I like Freddie. Freddie's kind of become my favorite. Only thing I don't like when Freddie shows up to the show drunk.
I like when he gets drunk on the show.
I don't know, man. Freddie drunk annoys me. I'm not a fan of drunk Freddie. I like sober Freddie way better than drunk Freddie.
So sore ass is really on the hot plate right now since a guy shows up from across the Pacific and wins his first race.
Yeah, one time in the car and wins.
Whoa.
That's going to make you look bad, Soros.
Sorry, sore ass.
Sore ass. All right, what do you want to do next? Hotels or Twitter says?
Let's do the says.
Twitter says it only took 2 tweets and 2 worth of replies for me to say, screw it. I can't take no more of the hate group Twitter. Elon has turned it into
Did you see we were getting hating on our YouTube page?
I was on YouTube. We got hate because dude, you can't watch a 15-second short and think you know what the whole show's about. I mean, dude got pissed because
told us to go to a recruiter
and join up
and join the military.
Called us a bunch of ninnies.
I think
I don't even know what a ninny is, but I took offense. I'm not a ninny.
Instead of complaining to us, he needs to call the generals and the politicians and complain to them.
See, actually, dude went and listened to the whole show, and he actually DM'd me, and he gave me a thumbs up. Like, he enjoyed the show. He's not hating on us anymore. He took out of context what was being said, which is why I enjoy the shorts, because I could take what you say out of context and make it funny.
Because we're click whores.
Exactly.
Plus, look at us. We're American.
America, 1776. We are the champions. World War II, World War I, Revolutionary War, my favorite. That's the one we beat the Redcoats in.
We went to that little island in the Caribbean in the 80s and kicked the shit out of them. Can't remember the name.
Is that Desert Storm?
No. It was
Cambodia?
It's a jungle island.
Is it Cambodia? I have no idea what Cambodia is. You went to college.
I minored in geography too, but I didn't. Cambodia is
Vietnam?
It's over by there.
Okay. You weren't.
I think Vietnam. Thailand, Cambodia, and Vietnam are all there. Southeast Asia.
Desert Storm. What else we have?
I wasn't in Vietnam. I didn't join.
Not you. I said Cambodia was in Vietnam.
Oh, it's right next to it.
Obviously, we have no idea what our geographical.
It's across the Pacific.
Yonder. I'm watching that show, The Pacific, right now.
Well, it's past there.
We have 3 episodes to go.
It's past that part.
So we're going to start with Jeff Gluck. Shane Van Gisbergen, after winning the race, made the comment, any of the top 10 in supercars are good enough to come and do what I just did.
Agreed.
I think that's a humbling statement. He's very humbled by his win. What he meant by this, and I know what he's saying here is
they have great competition.
Well, what he's saying is he's not the only one of them that could do it. Any of those guys could have come over and done what he did.
Do you think it has fully hit him what he did?
Actually, it pissed off a lot of people what he said.
Why?
We'll get to that. But no, I don't think it's hit him. I think he was kind of in shock yesterday that it actually happened. I don't think he would have come over here and raced in that race if he didn't think he could win. He's a 3-time champion for supercars. He doesn't need NASCAR. Dude's doing okay. Now, he'll be doing a lot better now, I'm sure. This is going to open up a lot of opportunities.
He says he's got one more year
left, and then he wants to come do this full time. Trackhouse is crazy if they don't boot Suarez and put him in a car.
Oh, they'll have a 3rd franchise by then, or
maybe
token, or
that's when
whatever.
Dale Jr. buys in.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe. All right, so Jeff Gluck tweeted what Shane Van Gisbergen said.
You said it.
Gisbergen. I do it good every once in a while, but at Waldrop SK said, how many supercar drivers have thought about NASCAR? This exposure is unmatched. What happened today might be one of the biggest wins since senior in 98. I'm assuming the Daytona 500 is what he's referring to.
Yeah, I think so.
Dale's win propelled NASCAR to insane heights in the early. Dale's win, W-I-N, he wrote W-E-N, propelled NASCAR to insane heights in the early 2000s. This win could be truly monumental.
I agree.
I
believe that we will have eyeballs in Australia and New Zealand watching NASCAR races now, and I believe we're going to have more eyeballs from America watching supercars.
And I believe we'll have more eyeballs from America watching NASCAR because of this. I think this could definitely be something that propels the sport.
We need to send a NASCAR driver to do a supercar event.
At the John Matrix said, it's a bad look for drivers of NASCAR. That is for sure.
So John Matrix has never watched supercars.
I don't think it's a bad look for Cup drivers. They got beat by the best. He is literally, he has won the championship 2 years in a row, 2021, 2022. Heck, he'll probably win it this year. Dude is good.
He's good.
So, no, I don't think it makes our drivers look bad. I do think they're going to practice and work harder at this than they did. I think they will be more prepared next time we're on a street course than they were this time. I guarantee you.
Agreed.
That. So,
but don't forget Marcus Ambrose did it first.
Yeah.
He just didn't win his first race.
No.
But he owned.
Well, he didn't win on an oval. You think?
No, he only rode. I think
Gisbergen.
GBH, whatever. I think he can win in an oval.
SVG.
Might be a short track win, but I think he can do it.
I think he could win at Darlington.
I'm telling you, I think Super V8s and NASCAR can cross over.
Easily.
Yep.
And I think this proved it.
And I think we're going to do it more now.
Well, Fawn Bellman, at Fawn Bellman said, their cars are similar to Cup cars. They have more experience racing on this type of course in these conditions, and this was the first time NASCAR tried this gimmick. So nobody had any prior notes / background. He's correct, but only about this one gimmick, not in a real Cup race.
I think this is a point race, Fawn Bellman.
I think Fawn Bellman took it wrong.
I think he did too.
A lot of people took his comment as negative towards NASCAR when it wasn't meant that way. It was more a guy that's humble. But one, you got to remember, he's Australian, so he doesn't speak redneck. I'm just saying, there's a barrier.
Actually, he's a Kiwi from New Zealand.
Okay, well,
so he might
New Zealand, so
he might speak redneck.
He still don't speak redneck, which is what most our fans speak. Omnius
Katusun?
Yeah, Katusun said, after years of Cup guys going down to the Xfinity and trucks and snatching up the wins and championships, a day like today was well worth seeing, in my opinion, to be honest. So he's comparing this to the Cup drivers dropping down in the series, winning races and beating them out. All right. I want to jump to, we've kind of already talked about this, what this next guy said. He was kind of agreeing with me that people
about Jonathan Warren.
That's
7.
That's who we're going to talk about. So Heather, aka Bay, at OMG It's Bay 10. She's a fan of the show. We've talked about her before on here. She tweeted out, "Y'all remember when Chase did this? ? Then he won the whole thing." And she had a picture of Kyle Busch stuffing it into the tire barrier. Chase Elliott did the same thing at the Roval, backed out, won the race, went and did a burnout and got out on top of the car while it was still smoking and pushed up against that tire barrier. Her whole tweet was Kyle Busch could do the same thing. Jonathan Warren 7. That's Jonathan Warren, Warrin, number 7, at Jonathan Warren 7 if you're looking for him. He says, comparing Whiny Nation to Chase is funny. Kyle B will never be a Chase ever. Maybe it's time you rethink your driver, but hey, must be the blonde on you. Ha 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 ha.
Well, you call her a C word, dude.
Well, we're getting there. She responded back to him, you're an idiot. You want to put Chase stats against Kyle's? Maybe then you'll pick another driver. So I kind of compared Kyle's and Chase's stats. And yeah, it's Kyle's night and day. I mean, Kyle's night and day, 2-time champion. He's got Chase. Then Jonathan Warren 7 replied, LMFAO. And you are if you think KB is better, just stuff. That's what's wrong with you KB fans. I said my opinion and you said yours, K? Not need to be a asshat, middle finger KB, and F you too. I expect your
Jeez,
being a
dude.
snowflake to resort to this.
Jeez.
So
Calm down, Warren.
at some point, Heather also tweeted out, "Okay, I'm sure. I just hope he kisses his wife with the same mouth he calls me a with."
Mm.
And then he just goes on and
He challenges her to a fight,
he
dude.
rage tweets her. He's like, "You brought my wife into this, so let's meet up." That's the problem with you whiny little
Does he
KB
hit women
fans.
too? You must hit women.
Obviously, he's wanting to hit her.
Wow.
Dish it, but you can't take it. Since you say I'm hiding behind the keyboard, let's meet up. But hey, your tweet peeps don't want to catch these hands. Middle finger, middle finger, middle finger, middle finger, middle finger, middle finger. He says, "You want to bring my wife into this? Less LFG," which is less go. And he calls her the B word. "I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina. Where are you at, loudmouth? Not scared like your pumpkin. Let's go anywhere, anytime. Matter of fact, I'm in North Carolina. Let's pick a spot halfway."
You already said that, moron.
This dude over and over wants to come meet up with her and fight her. Like, I looked at he is an Army veteran. This is his bio on Twitter. Army vet, husband, father. You're a father?
Wow.
And a husband.
And you talk to women this way?
And you talk to a woman that way? She called you an idiot. I'm calling you an idiot. Jamie, what do you think? Do you think he's an idiot?
He's an idiot, and he needs...
Jamie's called you an idiot.
You need counseling, dude.
You need help. That's all.
I mean, you need some counseling, dude.
After this, I got off Twitter. I didn't do any more Twitter says, so the dude needs counseling. But if you're wondering who he is, he's at Jonathan Warren, WARRIN, number 7, at Jonathan Warren 7. So
be a little more respectful. You came out of a female's womb.
Heather, sorry you had to deal with that.
But your wife gave birth to your children, and you're going to disrespect them. Way to go, Warren.
Way to go, Warren.
You know what, Warren?
Warren's...
You're not American.
George Washington would not approve of that,
Ben Franklin took your American heritage away from you.
All right, Jamie. We live in Atlanta, so there's no way we would stay in any of the hotels you're going to read the reviews of today. But if for some reason our wives made us go get a hotel for the Atlanta race this weekend.
Because we've covered the hotels in Atlanta ad nauseum.
You just went out. I don't care if you do just Georgia.
I just did.
At this point,
I did Macon, my hometown.
That's kind of what we do at this point for every race, isn't it? We just pick something out of that state.
If you're coming up from the south side, you're driving through Macon. You might decide, wow, I'm just 50 minutes from the track. They won't rape me on. Well, they might rape you.
These hotels, they might rape you at.
But you probably get a hotel for like less than $30 in Macon.
Cool.
Just to be clear and open,
Macon's not a safe city.
I've lived in Macon more than any other town, even with my father's transfer. Second would be Washington, D.C.
I've read a lot about Macon here in the last, 2-3 weeks probably. We are, if you didn't know, we are currently in the process of working on a new podcast called The Murder Zoo.
The Murder Macon.
Well, The Murder Zoo. But our first episode is based out of Macon. So I've read a lot on Macon, and it's one of the most dangerous cities in the United States.
It is.
Per capita.
My wife and I left 2005.
Yeah, y'all moved
out. No, I'm sorry. That's wrong. 2018, 16.
I was going to say 15 or 16.
Yeah. We got out. We live rural now, where my parents lived.
All right. Where are we going first?
Well, we're not giving the names anymore. Just don't stay in Macon.
Anywhere.
But Jessica wrote.
And there's no nice part in Macon.
Jessica L. There is a nice part. It's very small. Don't risk it.
Yeah.
99% of the place.
You might get shot trying to get to the nice part. All right,
1 out of 5, Jessica L. said. We came to graduation at Mercer University. It is a very well-known university in Macon. And it was the only place that was available. If I could give this place 0, I would. We know, but you can't.
Can't fall into that 0-star trap, honey.
Honestly, Jessica, you can't do it.
Nope.
But she says honestly, too. I don't know how this place is still open for business. It's not sanitary at all. Notice how she capitalized at all?
At all. She's serious. It's like the love. It's like the loves.
I looked at the mattress and it looked like they found it on the side of the road. And that would be an insult to those mattresses. The mattresses were black, clearly infested with bed bugs. And she took pictures, yes. It looks like they threw it in the pool, pulled it out, it got moldy drying outside.
Ugh.
This place was clearly run down and should be inspected. Not only that, but the place was not safe.
I'm sure it wasn't. You were in Macon, hon.
Oh, the part of Macon she went to is the worst part. It's where all the murders happen. People were outside drinking in groups. Well, because the police force in Macon kind of doesn't police.
They got defunded before it was even cool to defund the police.
That's pretty much anywhere in town. To add insult to injury, my 17-year-old daughter ran off with one of the thugs from the parking lot. Well, that is insulting. I guess I raised a slut.
What?
So, come on. Don't call your own daughter a slut, Jessica. Don't. The night ended at the hospital. The only place in Macon scarier than the motel.
Yep.
If you went to the downtown Navicent Hotel emergency room, yes.
Pretty rough.
That's where all the people who got shot show up. In the emergency room, the physician spoke to me about my daughter's physical condition. She was torn in her privates. I asked how that could happen, and she, the physician, said a very large penis. OMG. Yeah. Having not been there to observe this, I'm going to go with what she's saying. I asked, can it be sewn up? And she replied, it's not the vagina. Was it her mouth? I hope so.
I doubt it, but I'm just going to leave it at that.
The place was just sketchy overall. When confronting the worker, I guess there's only one worker in the whole hotel.
You talk about your daughter's sexual escapades in your review for a hotel.
You called her a slut. Don't call your own daughter a slut, even if she is. Don't.
Go ahead. I'll let you finish, but like 2 paragraphs of this whole review could have been left out. Jessica L.
I provided pictures of why I clearly did not want to stay there, and he refunded me. By refunding me, I mean charging my bank account 4 times. That's funny. And then refunding me twice. In other words, I did not get my money back. If you're thinking of staying here, I suggest you don't.
Macon.
I wish I were able to put the picture, but I can't. Actually, she did. But she was so livid with her experience in Macon, she forgot that she did, because I saw pictures of the black mattress.
And her daughter?
No, she did not. She's not.
And this is my 17-year-old daughter. Did she was going to Mercer, maybe?
Well, I don't think it was her 17. It must be an older child, because she was with her and partying in the parking lot with the thugs.
Oh, Lordy. All right.
Macon is so bad, we only go to matinees in town at the theater.
You drive to Griffin.
But, as we looked at it, our last theatrical experience could have been done for $20 while it was in the theaters on Amazon. And would have been cheaper. And our microwave popcorn would have been cheaper.
Yeah, I mean, it was what, $13 for a large popcorn, $12 for a soda?
$13.50 for a ticket.
I haven't been to the movie theater.
I think I'll just buy it on, next time I get the itch, I'll buy it on Amazon.
I just wait on to come
or Prime.
out. That's what I do. If I really want to watch something, which that's not happening.
A lot of them are coming out as they're in theaters.
I haven't actually wanted to watch a new movie in a really long time, so.
I kind of want to do the new Harrison Ford.
No.
But all the reviews I said, first 15 minutes are great. The next 2.5 hours suck.
2 hours and 45 minutes? Like, no movie needs to be that long. All right, where are we going next?
To another hotel that we're not going to name so we don't get sued.
I'll just go with the guy's name.
But it's kind of harder to do than Van Munching.
Van Munching, you mean?
1 out of 5.
Gisbergen.
Robert Lefebvre.
I don't know how to pronounce the BVRE. Lefebvre.
I think he's French, like Delarian.
I think I said that right. Lefebvre.
I'm going with that. What he said.
Robert Lefebvre.
From Brooksville, Florida.
France.
He titles his review as Wow.
Wow. That doesn't fit his last name.
So get a non-smoking room, 3 adults, 1 child for 2 days. They gave us 2 towels.
Well, it's better than no towels. That's what I always say.
Day 2 at 3 o'clock, I asked for towels. They said no. I stepped outside my room to have a cigarette. They said to only smoke in the parking lot. So I'm walking down the hall and 2 people are standing in the hall smoking a crack pipe. Apparently cigarettes are what's not allowed. Crack is.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. I mean, some cities it's way more acceptable.
So if you get 2 days, make sure you bring towels. Think about the last place you dry and the first place you dry. Your baby. Owner watches multiple people walk up to me in parking lot offering drugs, shoes, used lighters. My girlfriend was asked for adult services at least 10 times in the parking lot. Owners could not understand English. But the dude called the police when a fight broke out and amazingly spoke perfect English.
Think about the last place you dry and the first place you dry your baby.
Huh. So maybe clean your baby first.
Yeah, so he's wiping his butt with his towel and then washing his baby's face?
Yeah, I think so.
Thanks, Dad.
Thanks, Dad, for the pink eye.
Yeah.
By 3 a.m., the guns came out. And by 4 a.m., the coroner arrived. What?
That's how it happens.
I see that on the news in the morning.
I see it every Monday morning on the news.
6 o'clock, I'm watching the Making News, Channel 13.
That's what they left out here. By 3 a.m., the guns came out. By 4 a.m., the coroner arrived. By 6 a.m., it's on the news.
Yeah. As I stood outside watching them scrape up the body of the victim off the pavement, I said to the one normal. Oh, he must wrote this on Redneck July 3. Normal looking person.
Normal.
It is always like this.
Yes.
She said, Google Mactown crime, worst place in America. Then she said, you got $10 for some crank? We could have a good time. OMG. I Google Macon crime. Just keep driving down 75 on your way to Florida. Yes.
Agreed.
Uh-huh.
Agreed.
You can probably make it to Byron, Warner Robins, or Perry, and it'd be a little better.
You can sleep in your car.
But you know how to prevent this? There are some good hotels in Macon. Read the reviews.
Yeah, there's a few. Or like 2 or 3.
Yeah. So the next one, if you notice, look, she titled it, Oh My God.
I think we stayed in Byron last time I stayed down there.
When you guys were down for my grand opening?
Yeah. Wasn't that Byron we stayed in?
It was Byron. Not a lot of places to eat, but fast food, but not a lot of crime either.
That's the one where that guy Ryan that worked for us at the time, when we were at the gas station, there was an adjoining strip club.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to run in there and check it out.
We bear all.
He ran in the strip club.
He ran out.
Back out. He goes, you don't want to go in there.
I'm not sure they're women.
Well, he said the lady at the door was 8 months pregnant with a toddler on her hip.
Probably wearing a halter top.
He said it was the only strip club he had ever walked in where it had a fence post, a wooden one, has a bar in the middle.
I did this more for the owner's reply.
All right.
Because this is funny.
Okay, Lisa.
But this is almost every hotel in the wrong part of town.
So this could be anyone.
Lisa Demarest, 1 out of 5. The hotel is the worst I've ever stayed at. The place is third world. I thought I was in Haiti. Never been to Haiti, but I'll take your word for it. Gangs hanging out in the parking lot. They all seem to say that.
That's where they hang out at.
I see them at the theater. If I go to a 4 o'clock matinee in the winter and get out, the sun's out at 6, they're out there just having a street party.
Hanging around?
Yeah. Drug dealers hanging around.
Things. I imagine the drug dealers are the gang members too, right?
Yeah. Crack whores and meth heads
I
wandering
thought that
around the
said Clark
streets.
horse, so I'm glad you...
Crack. It's phonetically spelled. It's misspelled, though.
Okay, but I thought it said Clark. I'm like, what's a Clark whore?
Meth heads wandering around the streets with the shakes. Yeah, I've seen it. You've been down.
Yeah.
Motel owner strapping a pistol with clips on his belt. Probably a good idea.
Yeah. Safety
Especially in the wrong part of town. These are all within like 4 blocks of each
These
other.
are all in the wrong part of town, if
Yes.
you're wondering.
Which most parts of town, wrong part of town.
It happens.
If you don't want to get shot, go to north side or the northern part. Go 75 through Atlanta. Get off at Bass Drive, and there's 3 or 4 hotels you won't get shot at. Upon check-in, my phone starts ringing. Each time they're asking me if I want drugs, a woman, a man, or a teen. How about a virgin? I was asked. I unplugged the phone. Oh, it wasn't their cell phone. It was the hotel phone, I guess.
Oh,
I was going to say, geez, the front desk is sharing their cell phone.
housekeeping.
I just needed a few hours of sleep on my way to Clearwater. The room was disgusting, stain on the beds, walls, lampshades. I heard a rat in the wall, cockroaches running around. When I turned on the lights, gunshots throughout the night, a crowd in the parking lot all night. I never saw a police officer or heard one with sirens. Well, if they're not even there, how are you going to hear sirens?
Exactly.
I think
The police know where not to go.
Lisa was sampling some of that meth, crank,
In
and
that crack water.
crack water. What's wrong with this town? Politicians are sucking the taxpayers dry, and they're embezzling from probably the whole country. There's probably some government grants that they're stealing from too. The place is so unsafe, and the town is a war zone. True, yes, it is. And that's her review. The reply from the owner. I take offense to review of Macon. It's a great town. You just stayed in the worst part. Yes, and you own the damn hotel there.
You own a hotel in the worst part of town of Macon.
Everyone from Macon knows what parts to stay away from. But dude, not everybody's from Macon.
Yeah, she's staying in a hotel. If she was from Macon, she'd probably have a house.
Most people check city data crime statistics with the address of their motel. No, actually, I just read the reviews.
Done that. I just read the reviews.
Yeah, they pretty much let you know wrong side of town. Stop being stupid and protect yourself. Welcome to reality. I'm in the business to make money, not friends. Okay.
That's fact. He is, though.
Yeah.
He really is in the business.
He's admitting it. He don't give a crap about you, Lisa.
At least you know that, though. Like
That's why he has a pistol with clips on his belt, dude.
Because he lives in Macon, or for
I think he probably lives in a safe part of town.
Unruly customers.
Unruly customers.
That's why he's carrying a gun.
Yep.
Just for the unruly.
That's why he's packing, dude.
Well, if you're coming to the Atlanta race, you can take Macon. Mark it right off your list. If you're coming from Florida up 75 and then you're going to shoot over to Hampton, don't stay in the Macon area.
No, Hampton and McDonough are kind of sketchy too.
So we got the Atlanta race is Sunday night. They're racing in Atlanta. NBC's covering it. It's 1.5 mile oval track. I did the top 10, and I did out of their average finish out of the last 3 races. I figure they've only run 3 races here. You see the damn points?
Right. Jeez Louise, man.
Yeah.
Reddick screwed me again.
If you wouldn't
what the heck?
If you wouldn't have picked Reddick, you would have overtaken me on the points this weekend.
Reddick!
You've been like 100 points behind almost all for the last 5-6 races, and now
I'm not picking them anymore.
All right, so I'm going to do the top 10 from the last race here earlier this year. Chase Elliott, or actually not earlier this year. I did the last July race here. Chase Elliott won that. He has an average finish out of the last 2 races because he was injured the first race this year. Out of the last 2 races of 3.5. Ross Chastain finished second. His average finish is 5.7. Austin Cindric, average finish is 15.3. Eric Jones, average finish of 8.7. Ryan Blaney's average finish is 9.7. Daniel Suarez has an average finish of 13. Justin Haley, average finish 13.3. Eric Almirillo, average finish of 20. Cole Custer, 20.5.
He gone, though.
I know, but he finished 9th last year in this race. Harrison Burton finished 10th last year in this race in July. Average finish of 23rd. Now,
he was like a pinball in the race in Chicago.
Oh, yeah. What that tells you is anybody can win this race. This is a restrictor plate.
Just call it a baby Daytona.
Yeah, this is a drafting style racetrack. They're going to run 2 wide all day, and whoever basically probably doesn't wreck and stays up front will win the race. Corey LaJoie out of the last 3 races has an average finish of 10. Brad Keselowski has an average finish of 10.7. Joey Logano has an average finish of 12, and Martin Truex 12.7. Just some other notable names there that were not in the top 10 here in July. As you know, we pick 3 drivers each week.
Well, you get to go first, Brad.
The lowest number wins, the highest number loses. Last week I picked Truex, Suarez, and Harvick for a total of 88 points. which is horrible. Jamie had Elliott, Gibbs, and Reddick for a total of 40 points, which is much better than 88. So, if you wouldn't have had Reddick, man, you would have just killed me. Insane. All
He
right.
was looking good at the beginning.
So, overall score, I have 784. Jamie has 797. So, like I said, you made up 48 points last week, which is crazy. So, going into Atlanta this week, I am going with the driver. My first pick out of the top 10 with a driver who has to win to get into the championship. We're going to go with Chase Elliott.
Woo-wee.
Watch him wreck.
Think you do it again?
Probably not. Then I'm going to go with.
He was solid yesterday.
I'm going to go with William Byron.
That's a good pick. That dude could be champion this year.
Yep. Very well could happen. Then I'm going to go with Ross Chastain.
Taking old Rossi Ross.
I got to make up some points, man. All right. Who you got?
So, I'm going with Joey. My second pick will be Denny. Denny's available.
I had Denny on my. I actually had a mark by Denny's name, but I took an audible and went with William Byron last second.
And I'm gonna go with Brad Keselowski. He's had some real shit luck. It's time for him to string one of these together.
I agree. I definitely agree with that. Great pick. I mean, Brad runs good at these types of tracks. So, but that's really all I got this week. Happy 4th of July, everybody. Thank y'all for listening. We truly appreciate every one of you that listens and
Every
watches.
single one. Even our critics.
Yeah.
Keep listening.
Even if you don't like us, keep listening so you can keep complaining. I mean, we truly appreciate that too. So thank you to everybody who listens. Thank you for watching. Thanks for sharing this show with your friends on social media. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. We're at Car Backwards. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check out all our videos. Listen to us on Spotify. Rate us there. I think we've had like 6 or 7 people rate us now.
Yeah.
Like a 4.8.
And to be honest, I mean, our listeners are fantastic. They contributed to us doing our championship run on the Cannonball Run.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, we wouldn't have the Cooter Shooter sticker if it wasn't for listeners.
Yeah.
So we truly appreciate everybody. I mean,
and we have,
literally is one big family. Y'all become part of this family.
And let's give a shout out to our coworkers and our management at Daikin.
Yeah, definitely. They listen.
They fully support us.
100%.
So thank you, guys. Thank you, coworkers.
Greatly appreciate every one of you. So, but check us out on Spotify and rate us there. Subscribe to our show on Apple Podcasts and leave us a review like Brandon did. Send us a DM or email us at racecarbackwardspod@gmail.com. Actually got a DM from a listener last week wanting to know if Danny Carden Plumbing covered North Dakota. I had to break it to him that he don't.
Well, I would have driven him up in the Prius had he
decided to do the call.
Pay for our gas.
Okay, we don't want to drive up to North Dakota to fix a clogged plumbing pipe. No telling what it was.
Imagine the way that bathroom would smell when we got there.
Ooh-wee. Yeah, especially if we drove the Prius.
Hey, you know what? If we were entertaining some of our customers, the Atlanta race, unless there's a weather issue, I'm thinking we may have if there's no weather issue and we're able to make it where there's a regional meeting. Should we wear these to the regional?
Oh, yes.
I mean, it's formal, right? It's dressed up.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That we're wearing.
If we can make it to
wearing these to our next. No, we need to wait till it's an all hands on deck meeting. That's just
it's just us. It's not our.
No, we need to wait till everybody's at one of the meetings and then we'll wear
full regional
that way
meeting.
We have all our listeners.
Yeah, because you can celebrate America anytime.
Yeah, we celebrate America once a week on this show, and then we celebrate it off the show. So I celebrate America every day. Amen. Make sure you go to our website. It's racecarbackwards.com. Check out our merch store. Other than that, that's all I got this week. Y'all have a happy 4th of July, 1776, America. We are the champions.
enjoy what our fathers and our forefathers laid on the table for us.
Yep. This is
The
the
benefit
day
of
we
having
celebrate our
freedom.
freedom.
And you know what?
Yeah.
I want the liberals, the wackadoodle liberals, and the wackadoodle conservatives to lay off politics tomorrow
Just celebrate
and
America.
enjoy America. Because you know what? Regardless of your opinion, your freedom was based on our founding fathers.
That's a fact.
And the blood and guts of many Americans we don't even know the names of.
Nope.
But thank you for your service, all of you. Thank you.
Definitely thank you. And thank you, George Washington and Benjamin Franklin.
Yes.
We couldn't have dressed up without them.
No, we couldn't have.
Greatly appreciate them too. So, all right, y'all. You have a good week. We'll see you next week.